Instant match reaction. Everton 2, Rotherham 1 at Goodison Park in the FA Cup. After extra time, what a difficult game of football that was to watch at 12 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. We were absolutely atrocious, really. There's nothing much more to say about it. I personally think it was the worst Everton performance since the FA Cup fixture against Liverpool a year ago. It was just awful. You know, we started the game really well, of course, in control for the first 5 minutes, and then we get the first goal 8 minutes in. Really good ball from Anthony Gordon to Cenk Tosun, and he chips it over the keeper nicely, and you're thinking, right, okay, you know, we've started the game well, we've scored 10 minutes in, 1-0 up, go out, get another couple and just kill the game off and let it be an easy afternoon. But it never is an easy afternoon with Everton Football Club, is it? From that point on, we just sort of fell asleep, and it, almost as if we were like, oh yeah, this is going to be dead easy, we've already scored 10 minutes in, we've got nothing to worry about here. And then we just allowed Rotherham to get back into the game, and the more and more that we allowed that, the more confidence that they had, and then it became a lot difficult for us to control the game, and we were just utterly atrocious. Obviously, going in at half time 1-0 up, and you're thinking the only real positive is the fact that we're 1-0 up. Everything else has been dreadful. The defending was poor. We were allowing them far too many opportunities to get into the box, and if they'd have had a little bit more quality, they'd have scored in the first half. They had a couple at Robin Olsen as well. The midfield was completely bypassed. Tom Davis and Andre Gomez today were just utterly shocking. Throughout the entire game, we were calling for somebody like an Abdoulaye Doucouré today to just sit in that midfield and control it and just bring that presence of a player who, you know, isn't going to be overrun easily, and we just didn't have that. We were overrun in the midfield. There was nothing really going forward creatively. Cenk Tosun's name wasn't mentioned from the 8th minute until, you know, the last 2 minutes of the game when he scored that goal that was chalked offside, and it was just awful. It was really poor and really disappointing, because, you know, ultimately we should have had more than enough quality, even without Richarlison, even without Dominic Calvert-Lewin, even with Luca Dean only just coming back and James not being back for long. We should have had more than enough quality to control that game of football today, and we just didn't. And look, all that matters is that we're in the half of the next round, and, you know, we've won it and we can move on now and move on to Tuesday, but we've got to be a lot better against Wolves on Tuesday, a lot better, because they're going to have come with a lot more quality than Rotherham did today. And you know what? Fair play to Rotherham. They come, they fought, they dug deep, they got involved, they made it difficult for us, and ultimately they were the better team for the entirety of the game. They were the absolute better team. The only time that Everton stepped it up was in extra time. You know, we looked in control of the game for 7 minutes at the start of it, and then for the entirety of pretty much extra time. That 81 minutes or whatever it is in between, we were utterly shocking, and Rotherham done themselves really proud today. Stepped up, got the equaliser, of course, in the second half, which again is dreadful defending, absolutely dreadful defending. Tom Davis heads it, and it looks like he wants to run onto his own header, but then he just stops and doesn't run onto his own header, and they ultimately break and they get the ball. And, you know, and then again, another ball comes in, it just bounces off Tom Davis's head, even though he doesn't really head it, does it? Just hits his head. And then they go and score the equaliser, and then they looked like the team that were going to go on and score the winner. Then they were full of confidence, they were moving forward, and you know, Carlo made a lot of substitutions in the game. Bernard come on, he struck the post in extra time and done okay, but other than that, didn't really do much. Massively impressed by Niles Nkunku, thought he was brilliant today. Thought Niles Nkunku should be playing in the Premier League, to be perfectly honest with you, if not starting. And I don't actually think as a left back, I think Niles Nkunku coming on against most Premier League sides with 25 minutes to go and just putting him in that left wing position and just letting him run onto balls and put them into the box, I think he'll cause a lot of danger. He was fantastic again at putting those balls into the middle of the area, and that's what he's really good at. Really good at his crossing into the box is fantastic, and how he isn't involved in more Premier League games is beyond me, to be honest with you, because you can see that. And I know you might say, oh, it's only against League 2 opposition and he's only done it against, or Championship opposition, and he's only done it in the cup competitions against lower league teams, but he hasn't been given the opportunity to do it against Premier League teams. So how do you know that he wouldn't come on 75 minutes against the Wolves on Tuesday and cause them havoc down that left hand side? I'm not saying come on as a left back, bring him on as a left winger and either have, you know, Luca Dean at left back or Ben Godfrey, depending on who Carlo chooses. But Niles Nkunku absolutely should be coming on in games, because he offers us something going forward. He offers us directness, and you know what, obviously it was a big opportunity today for the likes of Anthony Gordon, who come on, like I said, started the game well, found Cenk Tosun with a really good ball, but other than that, faded out. Really did fade out. Body language didn't look fantastic, to be fair. Wasn't massively involved, and I don't put that solely down to Anthony Gordon. I put that down to the fact that the team were really poor and nothing really fed through Anthony Gordon. Even James Rodriguez struggled today. Only really, created a couple of opportunities, but that was because nothing was going through him. He is the player that everything should go through. We should feed every ball through James Rodriguez, and we don't. We're trying to play it, to the wingers. We're trying to play through everybody else, and he's just sort of this, running like he's running through Seagull. But look what he did. 5 minutes into the first half of extra time, he gets the ball and he finds Abdoulaye Doucouré with a brilliant ball, and Doucouré finishes, and ultimately we win the game from that. So look, it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough whatsoever today, and we need to massively improve going into Tuesday's game. Again, there's not much else you can say, is there really, other than we've won it. We're in the at. Happy that we're in the at. But, other than that, it was absolutely dreadful. It was from pretty much the 80th minute, from the 10th minute, to the 90th minute. It was shocking. And the fact that it went to extra time just shows how poor we were today. But there you go. Look, there's not much else to say about it. Obviously, Cenk Tosun got his goal. There's been a little bit of talk about the celebration after the second goal, which was ultimately disallowed. I think that's something that the club and Tosun are going to have to come out and address, because if it is what it seems like it is, and I'm not educated on the situation, then it's very disappointing and disgraceful. But again, like I said, I'm not educated on the situation, so I don't really want to sit here and start commenting on it, because I could be very wrong. But I'm sure the club will come out and the player will come out and address that. But yeah, look, other than that, it was really poor, really disappointing, and we have to be a lot better going forward. But we're in the at for the next round, and that's all that matters. Our quality showed towards the end, and I think they got tired. And when we brought on Abdoulaye Doucouré, he started to get control of the midfield a little bit, and then of course went on to score the winning goal, which was a really tardy finish from a great James Rodriguez ball. But there you go. Look, that's my instant match reaction. Not great, but we're in the at. And what can you say about that? Player ratings will be up in a little bit. If you've enjoyed it, please do hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Cheers for watching.